welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. With 4 race starts, we're going to start with our Category 4 riders, then 3, 2 and 1. Our riders lined up in yellow, that is our Category 1 riders. In green, our Category 2. In blue, Category 3. And Category 4 in red.
The first section of this climb kicks to over 17%.
Turn, this left-hand turn, moving around the corner. They are going to be taking this out all the way to the line, but this first 6k, the bunch really starting to find their feet now.
Look at that. In fact, that is a beautiful graphic. Take a look at the bottom left-hand corner of the screen.
It's great, isn't it?
That tells you exactly what I was about to try and say. I don't need to say it. You can see it.
A picture says 1,000 words, and in
this
case, it illustrates that we have 5 sets of riders on the front 5 riders still left in contention now. Bassoni, Dagan, Shandy, Coyston and Philip Bates. They are the riders left in the mix, and Bassoni is starting to struggle. It looks like Nikki Lloyd has not gone with her. The gap has opened up behind Embring. It's not huge, but she's going to come on to Hyde. Heidi's going to get swept away in the last few hundred meters, but will she hold on for the Category 4 win? They're going to come around the turn. Hermansen leading this out from Embring and Prado, and at the moment it's going to be Lisa Hermansen who's going to take the victory here on Qualifier 1. Hermansen, your winner here, Qualifier 1 on the Sunday Race Club. Hello and welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. It is qualifier number 2 here today, and we are going to be flying our way out and around both the men's and women's races. And when I say we, it's me, Matt Payne, and the one and only
Emma Martin.
It's good to have you back in the studio, Emma, or rather, it's good to join you in the studio. What have you been up to over the last few days? I know you've been really busy.
Oh, I've been busy this week. I've kick-started my weight training for my strength work, and I've been part and parcel of a 3-day stage race, so women's racing all the way this week.
Yeah, putting lots of words to the action. Hopefully your voice will hold up. We maybe check in at the start of the men's race about how that's going.
Yeah, what about you, Matt?
So I've actually been getting plenty of miles in, or plenty of kilometres in, indoors, as well as going out and doing some hiking as well. So really good to see the riders out on the course and seeing just how that has played out on those other races. So what we need to do, just get ourselves all ready to go and head out into the world. Is going to be the Arabian world.
It is indeed. So we're heading to Arabia, to the Yellow Feet today for the women. 35 kilometres of racing, 905 metres of climbing, and along the way we can see we have got 5 sprint segments. Those are the green segments, and now we have the 2 climbs as well. The Aquarian climb coming at 9.5 kilometres. That's a Category 4 climb, then the Category 1 climb towards the end.
Let's see how our riders get on when we head out on to the world. This is the Double Hafid course. Category 4 down in those pens, ready to go.
Yeah, it is indeed. 24 riders. 4. So 24 riders on the start sheet. We have a real mix. Sonnerson is here, Kirchner is here, Hyde, Sarasuk, Lloyd, Francis, Warren, anybody who is anyone and has been fast and furious in this Category 4 race is here today. One of the riders, I was going to say we are missing, but we are not missing them. Bridget Bremner finally progressed to Category 3. Now that is what I'm going to watch, because that's superb to see her progression there. So we're in with Sarasuk at the moment down in that start pen. The legs are warm, the bikes are ready, the riders are on final countdown. This is qualifier number 2 for January 2024 on the Sunday Race Club. And our riders are up and away and out of the start pen and on to the course. Now, this course map, really, really interesting. We've seen a number of riders and we've used this course a number of times, and the riders putting in really strong performances. It's a challenging course with that climb at the end, the Jebel Hafit. 690 meters of the 905 meters of climbing come in those final stages of the course. 9.5 kilometer long climb.
Indeed, and I think for me, what the two key climbs are also joined by the section, the section as you drop off the aquarium climb, you drop down the far side, you go through that tunnel and you pick up. That is going to be really key as well, because that almost makes it a third climb on there. So really interesting to see how they go. Now, in this race field here, one of the riders who's really impressed me lately is Helen Connell, the rider on our screen at the moment. She's been really, really strong, and really good to see that she is keeping on racing, and that progression is just going to keep on coming.
Well, I think progression across these Category 4 riders is something that is really moving forward. Connell, I agree. Bremner's progression now showing into that Category 3. I think Nikki Lloyd is one of those riders we're going to be watching for the next level of progression, because Lloyd coming to racing in 2023, it's now 2024, and we've seen her progression over that time. And I say coming to racing, she's also new within the last 12 months to cycling. And that is what I think is really fantastic here. Someone coming to a new sport, coming onto the MyWhoosh platform and into the Sunday Race Club. Progressing in Category 4 and moving into the top 5 and putting in really, really strong performances. I think she's going to be rewarded shortly with a progression to Category 3, and I think she's going to find herself competitive in that as well, because she will just continue to progress.
And that's one of the things, if you race with people who are faster than you, you get quicker.
Yeah, it does.
That's just how it works.
It feels horrible to start with.
It does, but it just picks up, and it just pulls you that little bit more, that little bit further, that little bit stronger, and all those little differences, they soon add up, and all of a sudden you're absolutely flying.
Well, Nikki Lloyd is tightly in this pack at the moment, and the pack are moving really strongly, just shy of 40 kilometers an hour as they're coming into the Ferrari show room here. 1.6 kilometers into this course is a good strong pace, and these riders look very comfortable here in this pack. It's a long run to the first climb, 9.5 kilometers, the 3 sprint segments along the way. They're going to see the first one at 2 kilometers into this race. That is just around 250 meters away. So we've got a bit of a push on the front here, actually, you know, Matt. No, the rider is now sat up. So interesting to see that. And I think they thought that the pace would pick and the pace would continue to move because of that sprint. But this is a long race today, particularly in Category 4. We're going to see times of close to an hour and a half.
And this dip down, I think your point there about going into that sprint is very valid. But also you've got that dip into Ferrari where you pick up pace, and it allows you to kick out of it over the top of the climb. Helen Connell certainly seeming like she wants to animate things today, just being joined by Emma Sonesson. They're going through that sprint area, just stretching their legs out, maybe just feeling a little frustrated by the lack of action so far, looking to try and kick it into gear and kickstart onwards. Right, that's Category 4, right hand side of the screen. Let's go to Category 3. They're on the left hand side and now on your main screen. Great race field in Category 3. We've got Team Golden Light with Golden Light representing the team today. Great to see them here, always with us, and always kicking on in and putting some great performances. But we've got a lot of other riders in that field, as well as some of the big hitters. We've got riders who are progressing as well.
We do indeed. We've already talked about Bremner. Can I just say, Matt, we've got 99 women on the start sheets today, so a phenomenal number of riders turning up for qualifier 2. But here, De Silva, Lytton, Gentili, Vink, Idzik, Weston, Arrayas and Hill, all on the start sheets today.
So here we go. It's time for our Category 3. Away they move and on to our race route today. This is going to be an absolute stonker of a race, and one of the reasons for that, yes, the 1980s stonker. That's a great phrase for you.
I've not heard that term for a very long time.
It is an old term, but it's a good one because it's going to be absolutely brilliant. What I'm looking forward to in Category 3 is, because there's so many competitive riders, it really is that category where people are moving up and through, people are fighting, and I think because it's so competitive, the differences come down to almost timing and how you ride the platform.
They do.
How you ride the platform. More so, I think, in Category 3 than in 4 and 2
Ooh,
and 1.
Interesting. So why Category 3?
Just because it's just the mix of riders, and it does change. But at the moment in Category 3, that's my feel for where we're at in Category 3. Having watched last week's footage and last week's shows, back again, because, you know, you can't get
You
enough
like bike racing. Can't get enough bike racing.
You can't get enough bike racing.
Yeah.
The one thing I have to say about can't get enough bike riding, I have to say we have been doing a little bit of maths, and this week has seen the team here at Full Speed Events, that is Emma and myself, we have ticked over our 500th esports show this week.
Well,
we've done over 500 shows. In fact, I think we're now on 505 or something.
Well, esports cycling is where it's at the moment, I'll tell you. And this pack are moving really strongly. So Bremner is well and truly in here with Vink, another rider who came up from Category 4 and is performing well in other categories. De Silva is here, Turkover, Idzik, Barco, Marin and Lopez, Miller in here as well. This is a strong Category 3 race field today. And I think, well, I was going to say, I think we're going to see some strong riding. But Molly Weston is here as well. Oh, this is Vink's type of course with this long climb at the end. But Weston has been going well as well, you know. So has Hill. Philippa Hill riding really strongly. So I think it's not, I'm going to put a prediction out there really early. Wow. I think this is not going to be a solo breakaway in Category 3 today.
Well, it's one of those times, isn't it, where some days you just know everybody's just going to be just rolling the way up there, and then at the end they're going to push at the end because they know they're all going to come at the end. And other days, it's like everybody just can't wait to get onto the climb and can't wait to get up that hill. I think today could well be the day where it is aggressive all the way, but we'll see. We will see. The Category 3 riders about to roll into that same dip that we saw Category 4 go down and up.
Well, that Category 4 pack on the right-hand side of your screen now has already slimmed down substantially. They're 4.3 kilometres into this 35-kilometre race, and 4 groups on the road now. And on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, you can see, well, on the bottom left-hand corner of the race screens, let me be specific, you can see that satellite navigation image where you've got the colours of the racing categories. Now, Category 4 in those red jerseys, you can see on the screen at the moment 3 race groups. There's one further off the screen. At the moment, on the bottom left-hand corner of this screen, Category 3 in blue, 1 large group of riders with all the riders in this race field going into this sprint together.
So the sprints, remember, count for points in terms of the jerseys. They don't count towards our overall prize or our overall race result, but they do win you a sprinter's jersey, and that of course is something to value, and of course make sure you get a picture of and put onto social media. Don't forget all the social media tags for MyWhoosh across the bottom of your screen. Basically it's at MyWhoosh at Facebook and on Instagram, and at my_whoosh on Twitter, or what is now X. Let's move to Category 2. Great race field here, some great teams in here. We have the Grind My Gears team represented by Novelin Kokkonen. We've got the Maniacs with Rosalina Barragan there. The Sunday crew are out in strength, though. Dana Davison, Johanna Zimmerman, Linda Sarmiento, Martinez, and Jenny Daniel, who's having a very busy week indeed. Let's see how she gets on today. There's a big race, so we'll take a look at some of those names in there, because this is going to be an absolute cracker. I love Category 2.
Well, it was a Sunday Crew who took the winning team competition in the final last month. Will they do it this month? Only time will tell. This is Qualifier 2 in January 2024 on the Sunday Race Club. This is Category 2. We're in with Julia Montgomery. They are up, they are out of the start pen and onto the boardwalk, swinging onto the course. The pace moving well already, up to I was going to say 39 kilometers an hour, but touching 40 as I recheck the screen. So really quickly up to pace this Category 2 race at the moment. Kong is here, Prado is here, Davidson, McAlpine, Corrales, Walkenhurst, McAlpine, Hermansen is in here, who took the win last week. Embring is here, Hadlock is in the mix, Rona is in here too. So really, really good race field, and I'm looking forward to seeing what this group can do.
And of those riders that you just run through there, some riders like Rhoda have a great sprint and a big power kick. Other riders like Lisa Hermansen, riders who we know can set a consistent pace and can really climb and are suited to almost a longer effort. It's not that they can't sprint, it's just that that's their preferred, I think, or their better way of putting this in. And I think in Category 2 that mix is very different, because you've got some really different styles of rider.
Yeah, and I think it's really interesting. The last two Sunday Race Clubs, so January Qualifier 1 was in Belgium. It's a very different course to this. Those are short, sharp climbs. The December final was on the outer loop. That's one climb that comes before the middle of the race course.
Yep.
So two very different courses. This time on the Jebel Hafit, this is the first time in this 3-week block that we've had a long climb at the end. So 9.5 kilometers this climb. The last time we raced the Jebel Hafit was back in qualifier number 1 in December. Now, it was a long race. In Category 2, it was Svardström from Davidson, from Sarmiento, from Walkenhurst and Smithers. Now, we do have a bigger race field today, and we do have a real mix of riders, with Hermansen coming in there. I think she's going to do well. Rona, I think, will do well as Kong. But it does create very different types of racing than the courses we've seen in the last few weeks.
Definitely agree with that. I mean, we've got Sarmiento in here. We've got Smithers in this race field. Svarstrom's moved up. Rona's in here. I think it's going to be very interesting. It's that mix, and that's one of the great things, isn't it, with the MyWhoosh categories, because they are dynamic, because they are designed to give you competitive racing, and we are seeing our riders progress so frequently that we're seeing riders move up really, really quickly as people get that development and that personal development, their racing development, and the season's change. I mean, we're coming into what is essentially, certainly in the Northern Hemisphere, peak indoor cycling, peak esports cycling.
Yeah.
And therefore people are riding lots, racing lots, training lots,
getting fitter.
Just the increase is incredibly quick. And then you see that at different times. I mean, yes, we've got riders from all over the world, but it is a very, very busy time, certainly on esports at the moment, despite us being a 12-month calendar.
Well, and also, let's not forget, it really does take time to learn the skills and techniques for e-cycling and e-racing. And those techniques are very different. Well, I was going to say, although there are some similarities, those techniques are quite different. Each discipline for me has its own set of skills, and you have to learn those skills. Just because you're a good crit racer doesn't mean you're going to be a good esports racer, and you need to really understand and learn those skills.
Well, we'll see who's got that in our categories 4, 3 and 2 on the right of your screen, and category 1 in the yellow, who are our teams and riders are waiting to go. Great to see the teams really jumping in. Big style here. We've got the Coalition Composite with Amelia Valterloo Bates, Madonna Degamashani, and with Stephanie Sidlick in there. The Affetto Skier team, well, Vicky Whitelaw, Celine Colombi, Roberta Bassoni, and Sophie Giovanni. The Risky Biscuits, Chiara Donny, Marlene Bjarhed, Mina Koistonen, and Catherine Fua. They are the team riders in there. And when you just run that is all. Well, any one of those riders could take a win here today.
I can't wait for the final, and we're only in qualifier 2.
And I've only told you the riders that are there in the teams. Let's see what Category 1 can do on Qualifier Race number 2 on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Here we go. It's time for the pedal to hit the metal and time to accelerate away. This is Category 1. This is the road to the summit of the Jebel Hafit. It's a long and winding road, but who will be banging out that number 1 at the top? It's going to be an absolute cracker, and I expect this race to slim down pretty quickly on the the aquarium climb.
Do you?
I do.
Interesting.
I think this bunch is going to split on the aquarium climb this week. It's a very bold prediction, which I expect to be wrong. But I think today we've got a good chance that these are all strong riders, but I think that's where we're going to see our first selection made. I don't think we're going to see anybody in this group get distanced before that point.
Well,
there you go.
That is a bold prediction from Matt today. 1 hour 16 was the win on the Jebel Hafit in qualifier 1 in December. It was Celine Columbi who took it from Bassoni, Fua, Van Hove and Menezes. We've got a couple of new riders who joined us in the month of December in this mix today. It's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out. But the climbers here, they are so strong.
And of that race field, I literally just have given people the names of the riders in the teams. When you talk about Menezes, she's here as a solo rider. You got Anna Svarstrom, who's moved up from Category 2.
Yep.
Who's, we know it's proved she goes well on here. But there's lots of other riders in there that could be in that mix.
There are indeed. I mean, Van Hove is here, Kalman is here, Engstrom is here, Gianti has moved up as well. It can be really interesting to see how she goes. So whilst we've got the really, really strong riders in those teams, we do have some really good riders as well in this mix. And Nelly Larson is here, Chiara Donny is in this mix here, Sarah London is here as well. So Biarhead 2 in this group. The group really, really tight. Quite a steady start at the moment, but they are just underway now. Now, interesting to see, take a look at that bottom left-hand corner of your screen. We've already got a split in this group. We've got a couple of riders further back down the road, but well, this pack moving quite nicely together. Vicky Whitelaw in here as well. Now, it's been interesting to watch her progression since she joined the Sunday Race Club. One of the riders really starting to come to the fore now.
She is. She's Vicky Whitelaw, for me, is that classic great rider, rides different disciplines, gets onto esports, absolutely loves it, starts to ride, starts to learn it, then improves, and then she can start to unleash the power. She can unleash that ability and that strength that she's got. And when you move into that, you move on to MyWhoosh and onto the Sunday Race Club, being able to harness what you've got is really, really key.
Well, harnessing what they've got is what these riders will be doing today, because they are so well matched. I mean, I know I jokingly said when you ran through the teams, Matt, I can't wait till the January final, but it is so true. I mean, the Risky Biscuits took the win in the December final by 1 minute and 59 seconds. Now, for viewers who are new to the Sunday Race Club, the team competition that comes into play at the end of every month is the top 3 riders' finishing time that is added together to give the team competition its structure. All the riders need 2 qualification races to qualify for the monthly finals, so they need to get those 2 verified rides in during the month. But the Risky Biscuits, well, now that these teams have come together and how they've come together in the terms of their component parts, it is going to be such a cracker by the time we get to that team competition. It always adds a different dimension. Well, adding a different dimension on the screen at the moment is indeed the sprint competition. This is the first sprint segment. It's Svardström, Menezes, Gianatti, Kalman, Jove, Columbi, Whitelaw, Larson and Koinstinen. It's the Category 1 pack that have gone through that the fastest, 27.4 seconds.
So I think really interesting there. Now, I've just seen another time add into the top there. That's Ursula Kasani. Kasani didn't get out of the pen on time. Problem on the start line. She didn't get off for whatever reason. And Kasani has been chasing. That time got added later. You can see it's the fastest time. She's really pushing. But it came in a little bit later than the rest of the group. So Kasani, and it happens. We've all done it. Famously, in the Tour de France, going back way, Roach turned up for his team time trial in 1990, I think it was 95 or 96.
Oh, I'm going to have to do double check.
He turned up for the team time trial and was eliminated. No, it must be earlier than that. It might be 86 even. He was eliminated from the race. And this is what somebody who's won the race. Now, Ursula Kasani is on the move. She's absolutely trying to nail this to get back in with the group. The problem is the group's moving fast. 26 seconds is the gap. And it's certainly looking to me like she's not going to get in touch. Interesting, looks like out of contention is going to be, I think, Celine Colombi, because I think Celine Colombi has gone nowhere fast. And to quote somebody, it's getting the equivalent of a puncture, basically. It can happen to anybody. We've all have tech issues, even in here. You never know. So let's see how Ursula Kasani can go. At the moment, Jessenia Menezes out at the back of the group, which is unusual because she's normally pretty good at staying right in there. And it makes me think she was nicely glued in there that again, as somebody else just maybe just either stretching their legs off the back of the bunch, or potentially just maybe just having to stop, just change something. You can have anything go wrong. I mean, it's happened before. People snap shoes. That's a classic. Actually break their shoe in the on the start, and actually just go grab a shoe, put that back up, put another shoe on, and away you go. With the modern fastening systems, getting them on and off is super fast, but if they break, you need to change them pretty quick. But for whatever reason, off the back and back in again. Jessenia Menezes are back in the fold, back with the pack, and at the moment that chasing rider is Kasani, who has been distanced a little bit here. Now,
shall I tell you when it was?
Go on.
1991.
1991. Well, it's halfway between my 2 years, then, wasn't it? It's a long time ago. Come on, I'm doing well even to remember that.
I'm impressed.
Yeah, there you go. The perils of sitting on the bike with the tour coverage in my ears. It's called training, apparently, when you're putting in the kilometres. I've been for some occasions. I've had some great rides, and I've also been watching some of the racing, which has been some of our bot racing. It's been absolutely brilliant. I'm absolutely loving it. If you are not sure what the bots are, get yourselves onto the Cycling Press, have a little look around. There's loads of people covering it, but basically the whole concept of it is that there are controllable companion bots. So basically you can choose 4 bots, 4 teammates, automated teammates from 6 skill sets. So you pick 4, you and your team go out and race. It's a bit like having a motor pacer on a track, like a Derny rider. So you'd have a Derny rider on the track, which is the motorbike. You sit behind it, and your Derny pacer races the other Derny pacers. Well, what you've got is you've got your own teammates, and they're your bots, and you pick them whether they're climbers or sprinters or mashers, whatever you want out of that group. They will be your riding team, and that team take you through. And you don't need teammates on that. You have your bot teammates and you as a solo rider. Really interesting to watch. And in fact, some of the riders were stronger than the bot riders, which was really interesting. So it's really good to see.
Talking about strong riders, this is a strong push on the front here at the moment, and it was Fua on the front of the pack who was pushing on the pace. They are coming through this sprint section. It's not really a sprint. You couldn't call that a sprint. I would just call that a push.
And there are riders just being distanced by that little... How about squeeze? It's just squeezing on the pedals. If you're on the bike and you're pedaling and you hit a hill, squeezing through the pedals really works. Now,
that chase is still on.
It is, and Kasani's making ground. She's nearly onto the back of this group because she's not giving up. She's really pushing through, using that sprint section, getting a second on Svartström, pushing 2.5 seconds on people like Whitelaw, and heading in to nearly 3 seconds on Giannatti. So that is a good gain. She's going to be bringing that back, but she's going to have used a lot of energy to get to the group. And then it's going to be about recovery. And you can see now as she comes up alongside, I think she's going to get onto Nelly Larson. And Larson may well be being distanced from the group. So there we go. Commentators curse. Nelly, jump on board. It could be because that Kasani and Larson are going to work together. And you've got to remember that although they're not necessarily in the same team, it may be that they, on our screens, it may well be that they are going to work together. But I think the pace that Kasani's putting down here has caused Larson to be distanced. But look at this, you can see the riders in front.
Yeah, she can. Once in sight, it gives you added motivation to chase and continue to chase hard.
Yeah, really going to be about this last kick, though. And as riders find, you can sometimes, you get to within a few meters. Literally, it can be almost touching distance. And then the pack speed up, and you can just see going over the top, the group as it goes round this sweeping right-hand bend on the overpass. They're hugging the barrier on the right-hand side. The line has stretched out. The pace has picked up. We're currently at 3 seconds, 2 to the back. But Kasani, what a ride. That is a good kick to get back onto the back. She's nearly there. London now starting to be distanced. And there's a high pace being set at the front. You're right about that push. And when we come over, this is it's a bit of a riser to come in here, but we now get this downhill. But once you've been distanced on the climb, the downhill, this is a pack. They've got to keep on going.
Well, talking about keep on going, Kasani is keeping on going. She's got a little bit of help now with Sarah London, but Kasani's still absolutely motoring. She so wants to get onto the back of that group, but I'll tell you something, Matt, when she gets onto the back of that group, she's going to have to take a big pause because it's not a micro rest she's going to need before she faces the Yerbal Hafit. It's going to be a serious refilling of the lungs.
Of the lungs and the fuel stores. So there's
look at that, she's done it.
Kasani has gone right over the top and got back on.
Phenomenal ride.
Yeah, great ride. And London now is actually the rider who is almost in touch behind. She's just about going to make contact, I think, just behind. She has got a chance to get in there, but she's really got to kick on here. Should we get all techie geeky for a little bit? Not techie geeky, fuely geeky. Fuely geeky, here we go. So there are lots of different ways that you can fuel how you're riding, and when Emma talks about recovery, one of the key things here is it depends on what sort of effort you've done. If you've done a sprint effort, you're full of lactic acid, you've been basically burning it off. When you hit it, what you burn first is basically real fuel inside the muscle. That's what goes first. Then you're using fuel that you can take on board, i.e. you can refuel with a gel or with food or with an energy drink. But when you've done a long effort, you're not just taking a micro rest and you're letting the muscles do some recovery, are you? You are. That sort of effort is going to take a big chunk of fuel.
Shall I tell you how I fueled when I did a very long effort one weekend?
Go on.
One weekend, just for fun, for those of you who are aware of what Hadrian's Wall is in the UK. Hadrian's Wall is a Roman wall that runs from one side of the UK, the sea on the east side, to the sea. No, the sea on the west side to the sea on the east side. Well, it runs both ways, but I ran it from the... I ran it. So 86 miles long, Hadrian's Wall, over 3 days. Great fun weekend. In fact, was my alternate friend's hen weekend. She was an Ironman, or is an Ironman triathlete. But I fueled Rocky Road, hula hoops.
Okay, so you're doing Rocky Road and hula hoops. My act of stupidity, on one of the 12-hour time trials that I raced, one of them, I was fueled up. Instead of going down the sports food option, I went for sandwiches.
Oh, what was in your sarnies?
Oh, all sorts. Cheese sandwiches, ham sandwiches.
Oh, good God.
I had tiny little sandwiches. I had lots of little confectionery. I had all sorts in there. And I fueled up from that, and I actually did my best ride.
Well, doing their best rides at the moment. This is the Category 3 riders on the sprint section. Results in front. 20 seconds, 20.5 seconds, the fastest time through this section. Jaramillo, Giuliano, Madeira, Barco, Arrayas, Vink, Turkova, Miller and Silva, the riders moving through. Now, what that tells me is that the other packs, the other categories have backed off.
They have indeed, the riders backing off, but as we go up on towards the top, category 3 are motoring here, and I think in part because Molly Weston does not want this pace to drop. She's on the front. She's the rider that Emma picked out earlier on in the show, and look at the pressure she's putting on Philippa Hill. Right up in contention. Litton is there kicking. Ella Vink just pushing away up through that group as well. But Molly Weston, really nice pedal cadence here. 85 revs per minute. Really, really key.
Well, this is the Aquarium climb, and you did say earlier on, Matt, that this was going to be one of the instrumental parts of this course. And you can see now these leaders in this Category 3 race working their way through the back markers of the Category 4 race. And that's really, really clear on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. As Weston can see Sy and Kirchner, the two Category 4 riders ahead.
And she's currently up to 13th on the road overall. That means there's only 12 riders left in front, which are all Category 4 riders. So Category 3 and 4 coming to the top of the climb on the right-hand side of your screen. On the left-hand side of your screen, Category 1 are on the way up into the climb now. So they're on the base of this climb, and they know that now they have that climb. That climb, quick reminder for you, 3.5 kilometers long. Really key to this is the summit of the climb. If you push at the top, and our Category 1 are very good at doing this, they will ramp the pace right up and try and split it on the very summit, because if you go over the top and you can split riders off the back of the group, as you pick up pace on the downhill, particularly if you take the bunch, and we can see this in Category 3, left-hand side of your screen, you see the big bunch go over the top. They've got some Category 4 riders in there. What was a little gap between those chasing riders at the bottom of that satellite navigation view has increased, and it's increased because the pace at the front picks up. When it levels, it's going to come back together slightly, but it won't come back together as much, and then it will open again. And it depends on what the riders do, but you can see the group behind chasing very hard there to get back on. There's some big efforts being put in because riders don't want to be distanced, and this time the top part is shorter than the bottom.
Well, you can see, take a look at that screen at the moment. You can see that long stretch and the long tail on this Category 3 race going round the corner of that aquarium because the pace has picked up. They're running at around 62, 64, 67 kilometers per hour. The paces continue to increase on this downhill, and the stretch on that group that had concertinaed back together after the top of the climb now putting gaps back into the group. 1, 2, 3, 4 groups I can now see on the road in this Category 3 race.
And that is that compression, then the split as the terrain changes from a descent to a level to a descent. It's ascent at the moment, but we're going over the top in Category 2. This is where we're going to see, I think, another fastest time up on the top of the aquarium climb, because Category 3 are chasing at the moment. Now, Nicola Turkova of Category 3 had the fastest time. This group goes over, and you can see again, splits have formed. That is a big gap at the top of the ascent, and that is because of the pressure that's been put on. Big splits being made on this climb, and in fact, I can see another 2, 3, 4 groups of Category 2 riders further down the climb, way out of sight, and that is because of the pressure that's been put on by this very select group now.
Well, 10 riders I'm counting in this leading group at the moment. Hermansen, Prado, McAlpine, Kong, Embring, Takanas, Prado, Rona, Davidson are the riders in here. That's a class field in this Category 2 race, but the pace still continuing to push on this descent. They will continue to pick up pace. We've got Run Rider just off the bat. They're really working hard, trying to chase on, trying to get into contention with this group, because this is the group. If this is anything like what we saw in that Category 3 race, this descent is just going to increase the gap between this leading group and the chase group behind.
With plenty of Category 3 and Category 4 riders in front to gain draft and inspiration from, get that motivation that they are making the catch. This group are motivated. They've already broken this group down. It was a big race field. I think it was our biggest race field of the day today in terms of our women's race fields. 4 race fields, all on the course, all on the same world, all traveling on the same route, all aiming for that same finish line. The Category 2 race, very, very aggressive. Category 1 are on the climb. They're about to come to the partway section, and we've already lost at least one rider off the back. We have the summit section to come. So the upper part of this climb, the upper part is fractionally longer than the lower section. This is going to be really interesting to see what happens as they come up and onto the top.
Well, currently the aquarium climb data over the segment is going to form at the moment, with Category 2 setting the fastest time, then Category 3, then Category 4. At the moment, before our Category 1 riders get to the summit, it's Lisa Hermansen setting the fastest time, from Anna Embring, from Wendy McAlpine, from Lam Kong, Julia Montgomery, Laura Tucanis, Monica Rona, Jeremy Prado, Marcel Smithers and Dana Davidson round out the top 10 at the moment. I think that should all change when our Category 1 pack get there, but we will see.
We will. When we get there, we'll see who's going to get that polka dot skin suit. You can see Georgina Hyde having, I think it's Nikki Lloyd with the skin suit in Category 4. You can see it on the right of your screens there on the ascent out, which takes you out from the descent from the aquarium climb. So basically up the aquarium climb, down the other side, and the exit here, having ridden this on MyWhoosh, I've ridden this actually a lot of times, because this is actually on one of my favorite routes to ride. But I don't actually know why this is one of my favorite routes to ride, because this climb is horrid. It's basically it's the roundabout climb. But so you come out, you go up, you climb, and then it flattens and it goes again. It is not an easy climb. It could have a categorization all of its own because of it, the way it comes, because you've gone up the aquarium climb, you've gone down this big descent, and then you hit part 2, which is the exit. But part 2 is not necessarily where it's happening for Category 1. They're starting to shake this up. They're getting to the top. You can see it's around the corner. Pressure's on.
Well, it's for putting the pressure on at the front. Mina Constant is there, as well as Velt and Biarhead. Giovanni is there too. So is Manshandi. But it was Fua who went onto the front first. It's now Constant who's picking up the pace. Constant, Fua's teammate on the Risky Biscuits squad. But that pack, as you can see, all full of strong riders, because no one is breaking it at the moment. There is not the stretch on it that we saw on the other race fields at this point.
I think this is a wasted opportunity if you don't go hard here.
It's a wasted opportunity.
Absolutely, because if you don't use this, you've basically got 3 key places you can break this race apart if you're any good at climbing. One is on the aquarium climb, one is on the exit climb from the descent, and then you've got the main climb at the end. Leave it to that main climb. You might have been able to distance somebody here who's not yet with it, not awake, not moving, not fresh. Somebody maybe who doesn't go well at the start of the race, and he's going to go like an absolute express train at the end of the race.
Going like an express train at the moment is Amelia Velt. She's pushing on the front here. She's obviously been listening to what Matt's been saying. I'd have been looking.
Come on, Amelia!
Well,
go!
I'd have been looking at this group thinking, well, we're going into the final climb together because this is a quality leading race field. But Amelia Velt pushing on, taking that polka dot skin suit as the lead behind, or the chase behind, being left by Catherine Fua and Ursula Cassani. So Cassani well and truly in the mix in that pack now.
I think, and I'm still going to stick with this, it's a wasted opportunity. Look at the pace. Hermansen has retained top spot on that climb, and you can see that the riders going through, the fastest time from Velt puts her only into 14th position in the climb at the moment. 14th for the fastest Category 1. That shows you the pace they're going up there, and that is a wasted opportunity, because you don't know who is going to be having a bad day.
I disagree.
Okay, so Emma and I are going to go for a bike ride, and I am going to do a classic push on the very first hill, and Emma, who takes like 6 100 miles before or half of Hadrian's Wall to warm up is going to be in trouble early
Hold on a
on.
minute. That's not like for like. On the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club, these categories are matched like for like. You and I going out for a bike ride, I can tell you your top power versus mine will add 1,000 watts.
Yeah, but if I put that in at the start and get a big enough gap, you aren't going to catch me no matter how good you are at the end. Okay, right, let's get back to the actually 4 ride categories all out on the race route. All of the riders are racing here today for a top position. They will want to qualify for our finals, but remember, they're also after our fantastic prize fund. Top 5 riders in each of our 4 categories, taking away prizes in the individual categories. And of course, they're also going to be lucky when we go to the finals with having team prizes as well. Top 5 riders in the team competition taking the prize money. Fantastic big prize fund. Always good to see what the riders stand to get. And here we go. 2,160 AED for the win in category 4. 2,160 for first, running right through to 432 for fifth. Because it's a qualifier, it's just the right hand qualifier races today. Individual classification. Teams only come at the end of the month, but look at the team price, 10,800 AED. Category 4 is our base level. We're going to move up from category 4 to category 3. Category 3, next step up. Team Golden Light is our team rider in here. And if Golden Light was to take the team win in the classification in category 3, she would take away 18,000 AED. That would be a nice payday for riding on the bike. The qualifying win, 3,600 AED for first place in category 3. Move from category 3 to category 2, no prizes, and guess what happens? It goes up again, up to 6,000 AED this time for the win, 6,000 for the win, 1,200 for fifth, and spread between those top 5 prizes. And again, team competition, when we come to the end of the month, stepping up to a ginormous 18,000 AED for second, a massive first place of 30,000 AED. Now, we thought those prizes were big, but we would like our riders in category 1 to get an even bigger reward, because this is the top of our race categories, and the top prize for an individual win is 10,000 AED. Second place, 8,000. Third place, 6,000. Fourth place, 4,000. And fifth place, 2,000 AED. And when we get to the finals, and this is why, teams, get yourselves riding as a team really, really early. 50,000 AED for the win. 30,000 for second, 20,000 for third, 10,000 for fourth, and 5,000 for fifth. 3 riders to count. Really, really important. Get those teams in. Now, Emma, we have riders from all around the world. 10,000 AED for the win today in category 1. Where today would you like to head to tell us what it's worth somewhere else in the world?
Well, Emma's exchange today, I am going to Sweden in celebration of Lisa Hermansson's fastest time setting up the aquarium climb. I know she might be in category 2, but the 10,000 AED for the first price in category 1 in Swedish krona, 27,780 Swedish krona today, 10,000 AED.
So that's in celebration of Lisa Hermansson's fastest time up the climb.
Yep, indeed. But now, for me, Matt, this is so important because this prize money is all about the professionalisation of e-cycling and the professionalisation of our riders and enabling those professional, bespoke and focused e-cycling athletes. So we are watching the development of that, and we're watching Lisa Hermansson at the moment. She's in that leading group in category 2. They are mixed in there with the bunch in category 3, chasing the leading group in category 4.
So our groups are starting to come together. They're starting to be in the mix together because they are catching now. A quick reminder, when our riders are racing, they can catch each other, they can draft from each other, and drafting is probably one of the top 5 skills that you need to have on the bike. I was thinking, oh, I know what's coming next. It's an absolutely key skill. Being able to sit behind the riders, use that draft for attacking, for movement on the way through. What's the other 4?
Oh God, I was about to say, and it's so easy to practice because whenever you jump on to MyWhoosh, there is an opportunity to practice your drafting. And it is one of those skills that time and time again is a really good thing to do.
Right, now you said that, what's the other 4?
I've forgotten the question.
What are the other 4? So top 5 skills. What are your top 5 skills?
Well, you talked about drafting.
So that's 1.
Momentum.
2.
The utilisation of
good
momentum.
one. Really good one. Yep, really important. No, this is not necessarily in order. So draft, momentum. What else?
I would say cadence.
Cadence, as in the revs per minute. Why?
Yes.
In what way?
Well, I think utilising cadence, particularly on climbs, particularly in attacks, rather than thinking, oh, change gear, churn a big gear, actually utilising your cadence and lifting it and dropping it, it allows you to pick up momentum. It allows you to put in an attack. It is a real key fundamental about changing cadence.
Draft, momentum, cadence.
Come on, you pick up one.
Oh, do you want me to? Pacing.
Ooh.
Pacing. Not just knowing how to get to the end of the race without blowing up, but actually when you go fast and when you go slow, when you respond, when you move, and getting your pacing that is reflective of your skills and the race that you're in. Pacing, absolutely critical. So that's in my top 5 for sure.
Is it?
It is. 4 down.
Do you know what?
Do you want the last one?
Well, go on then. Let me give you your last one.
No, after you.
Well, I am going to use the phrase positivity.
Okay, like that.
Because for me, mental attitude is absolutely as essential as good legs.
Yep. Okay. Positivity. Yep. Mental attitude. Yep. Like that. It kind of works in my mind because for mine, I'll come to mine in a second. Positivity is good. I've just looked at the screen. We'll come back to the last one. I'm not shirking it. Honest.
Come on.
Really good to see Jaramillo there on that sprint section, the Silent Dune sprint. Bearing in mind that this is on the exit of the exit climb, so it's on the way out of the exit climb from the aquarium climb, descend out the exit through the Silent Dune sprint. Jaramillo from category 3 there, a second quicker than that McAlpine to Conas Davidson, 2 seconds quicker, 2.35 seconds quicker than Mina Coinston, which says to me that Jaramillo really has got a good part of the race here. We're in with her. Why is she moving so quickly? Because she's been caught on the way through, and I think that is a fast time because she has really pushed into that group and used that pace in that group, working well. Good skills in there. Very good skills in there. That's about drafting. That's probably about momentum and cadence as well. Potentially pacing. You've got positivity in, which is like mental grit.
I think I'm going to change the word positivity to mindset because that encompasses more.
Yep, mindset. Okay.
Because I'm sitting here thinking, well, the ability to dig deep, but that's about mindset. I was having a conversation around matches. The concept of burning matches and the concept of having how many matches have you got being in your head and only in your head and not actually a reality in your legs. That was an interesting one the other day. What about you, Matt? What is your 5th?
My 5th is kick.
Kick. Oh, you see, I don't have it. Well,
kick. You might not have it. You
not have it.
Kick is spring. It's explosivity. It is the ability to win because you need to break clear. Might be you're getting caught like you got the riders here.
Yeah.
And you need to kick to go from category 4 pace to the back of the category 2 and 3s. All of our leaders come together. We've got category 2, 3 and 4 on the road all together. You need to kick up that pace, get into that draft. Kick to take yourself out and attack. Kick to take the sprint. When you come in with 4 riders, a kick will take you up there. Short burst, lots of pace, get in that pack and stay in that pack. You need that kick to get there. That's my number 5.
I'll tell you what, if anybody's got any further to add to the list, do let us know. Do get in touch. You can get in touch with me at Biking Emma. But what I'm really interested in at the moment is this catch on the screen. This is Category 2, Category 3 and Category 4 leaders all coming together within 2 kilometres of the start of the Jebel Hafit. Can the Category 4 riders stay in this pack and utilise the draft until we get to the bottom of the climb? If they can, it's going to really benefit them. We've got one rider already in trouble coming off the back of the group. You can see that there. That's one of our Category 4 riders. The rest of them desperately trying to hang on and take the toe into the base of the Jebel Hafit.
And that base coming at 25 kilometres into the route. It'll be marked by that polka dot banner, the polka dot arch. That will take us up on to the climb proper. 2 leading groups now left on the road. We have the Category 2, 3, 4. That's on the right-hand side. Yes, it's Category 2, 3, 4. And the Category 1 on the left-hand side. So we've got Category 1 leaders on the left, and they have Category 2 riders with them who could be smart. They could be using their mental strength. They could be using the draft to get in there. Now, Jaramillo on the move here, on an attack, putting in a sprint here.
Yes, that sprint section again.
It is. I tell you something, this is, I mean, a great way to get a great workout. It's a bit like sprinting off a motor pace.
Well, we were talking about cadence there. Her cadence up to 115.
Get
Nice
in.
use of cadence.
Nice. Yeah, absolutely. I love riders who can spin. Absolutely think it's brilliant. It's just such a skill, and it's one of those things you can train as well.
Wow.
You do sprinting in a low gear is something that you get that souplesse.
Well, it's what we used to do with the young riders on the roller sessions indoors over the winter in the UK when the weather was too bad to take them out. Who can hit 150 RPM first?
Always an entertaining moment. See who can hit that first.
And stay on the rollers.
Have you ever hit 150? Have you actually, on anything, ever hit 150, Emma?
Well, you know I haven't. I think about 142 is my highest.
Is it really?
I just do not
How
have that leg motion.
And was that recently?
No.
In the last 10 years?
Yes!
Just?
Goodness me, it sounds like I'm in a Zimmer frame.
I was trying to find a diplomatic way and I gave up. Right. Right. Never mind telling everybody just how long Emma's racing career has been. Let's get back to the action because we are approaching the start of the Jebel Hafit climb. Now, this climb, although on the profile graphic, it does look relatively straightforward, not too many kicks. It does actually have lots of steep sections as well as flat sections, lots of twists and turns. The start, though, is particularly tough. Having ridden up this, not actually outdoors yet. I'll say it again, it's on my bucket list. But it is about when you hit on here on MyWhoosh, it's like hitting a wall. Because generally you've done a reasonably flat run into it. You go under the archway and that gradient kicks. You can see it on the right-hand side of your screen. At the top, that is the course profile. Our rider's in the yellow line position on there. And the course runs from right in to left. So basically, we're going to move our way through that. Already this group's starting to split. And we should see Category 2 coming to the fore in the green, then Category 3, then Category 4. Almost going back into colour order on here, dependent on who's climbing well, dependent on who takes draft, because remember that you get draft. Draft exists at 1 kilometre an hour. It's not much use, but it does exist, just as it does at 68 kilometres an hour, where it's got lots of use. Here, it's about power to weight, it's about getting the power down, and it's about getting that pacing and the kicking right. This is a tough section, 11%, and it's all red, Emma. This is where it's going to count.
It is going to count, and you can see the stretch now on the group and the colours doing exactly what you said, Matt. The green jerseys are coming to the fore, the blue and the red further down the road, as it's Jeremy and Prado putting the power on the front, and a big push actually from Prado going into this climb. Let's just remember this climb is 9.5 kilometres long with an average gradient of 7%, but it does kick to 13% and over. Prado, Rona, Hermansen, Kong, Davidson, McAlpine, Takanis, these are the riders, along with Anna Embring, who's in there as well and putting a bit of a dig in at the moment, that I'm expecting to see towards the front of this Category 2 race. They really should be the strongest climbers. But, well, look at that. Rona, Prado, Hermansen. I think we're going to see 3 riders go away.
I don't disagree. I think it's going to be really interesting to see if they can go away and then stay clear, because you've got 3 very, very strong riders. This could be a definitive split. Lamkong goes well. I've actually got on here on my notes one of the riders that we haven't really mentioned, but one rider who does go well on this course is Lamkong. Lamkong progressing, had got a really good progression a few weeks back. I think has really reinforced that over the last few weeks, and I think probably going to see another big kick in terms of progression. But this group is moving, and I think Kong and Davison are going to make the group.
Yeah.
That's Taconis, maybe McAlpine as well. Big group.
It's going to be interesting to see how this group of 8 riders in the lead here in this Category 2 race. They're currently the leaders on the road. On the left-hand side of your screen, one of the things I'm noticing is the fact that this Category 1 bunch is still really relatively large. It's also just under 3 kilometers behind the rest of the race leaders in the other categories. So a significant distance still to travel for this Category 1 pack to catch the rest of the riders on the Jebel Hafid. They are coming up for 24 kilometers now, and it is the final sprint that they are moving through. They are not at the start of the Jebel Hafid. That is still, well, around 1.5 kilometers away.
And you can see top right hand side, it's just starting to come into view as that white line moves across the profile scene. The riders on the way through here. A little bit of a kick here by Svarstrom. And Svarstrom just having a little bit of a hit out now. Eases off, stretches those legs, gains the green jersey of the most consistent sprinter, getting the most points in that sprint competition. Now comes the group, and now Svarstrom's mission, having moved up from the Category 2 to Category 1. She's a winner on here, a place rider on here in Category 2. I don't think she's had a win on here, has she? On the Hafid?
No.
It's not in my memory. I know, Emma,
well, she did actually.
Did she take a win?
Anna Svarstrom took the win in Category 2
So
on
she
the
took the
Jebel
win.
Hafid in December.
So she took the win here in December.
before she moved up into Category 1.
So proven winner on here.
In Category 2.
In Category 2, but it means she knows how to race.
Yeah,
she
she
now
does.
has to take that and transfer that across. Interesting, Sharon Millo, who we saw going for every sprint.
She's loving her sprints today.
Yeah, definitely. That is good. Good kick.
Yeah, absolutely is indeed. Fua, Whitelaw, Svardstrom, Bates, all in the mix here. Look at the size of this group. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 riders potentially still in that group. Really, really good packing from the leaders in this Category 1 race. They are all in the mix here. Menendez is here. Whitelaw, Biarhead, Engstrom, Bassoni is in the group. So is Giovanni. And Giannatti. I'm really loving to see that Hannah Giannatti, coming up from Category 2, is in this group.
Yeah, stay with it. Hold on those wheels as long as you can. Stick with that pack. It's all about being able to hold on to the top, to the finishing line here. Remember, this is January the 1st of our 12 months of Sunday Race Club. We are making our way on to the Jebel Hafid, onto this iconic climb that features in both the men's and women's UAE tours. And I'm really looking forward to that start of the season for both the men's and women's race fields, kicking off the UAE teams out in Australia at the moment for the Tour Down Under, and then most of the riders' programs is taking them across in to the UAE Tour, where they will be going up and racing on a lot of the roads that you see here in MyWhoosh, and onto this iconic climb that really does make everybody suffer. Nobody gets to the top of this without having a tough time.
I don't. And looking at that graphic on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, they Well, that is just one colourful snake of riders going up this mountain. Right at the very top of the screen, there's a green blob indicating the Category 2 riders just about to take a right-hand bend. Right at the front of the race, they are the leaders on the road, followed by the leaders in the Category 3 race, the leaders in the Category 4 race, it's the leaders in the Category 1 race who are at the base of the climb. They've got some way to go till they catch the front of this race field, but I really would not put it past them. Now, Monica Rona is the rider leading the group. Whoa, take a look at the gap she's put in on Hermansen and Prado. We said that there were 3 riders going clear, Rona, Hermansen and Prado. Rona was your pick, Matt, for this climb, and she is proving you right at the moment. 28 seconds between her and the chasing 2.
Monica Rona and Lisa Hermansen, for me, represent the 2 different types of riders. You've got Hermansen, she's got this long power, she's got this great climbing ability, she's got a kick, but Rona, we know, has got massive power. She can really boost and belt out a massive pace. She's got the gap. So you see Rona is our rider with the triangle, that black triangle on the left-hand side on the climb. Then you've got Hermansen at 32 seconds with Prado, so 2 riders chasing at, well, it's yo-yoing a little bit, 25 to about 35 seconds, so around about that 30-second marker there, which is the 2 you've got on your screen. You've got Lisa Hermansen in here in the polka dot skin suit, and Prado, the rider who instigated the action at the base of this climb. They now have to chase Rona, who has used that kick to go clear. And once you've gone clear, you only then have to hold the pace of the chasing riders. Once you put that gap in, put the gap in early, it's about holding the pace, watching what's happening behind. That's what Rona's done. If she feels strong, then kick again, put a little bit more time in. These riders, they've got to close that down. Now, they can either try and kick and hold, but that is very difficult when you're a chaser. It's much easier to then try and chase back steadily. Hermansen, I think, and Prado doing that. The next group behind, almost equidistant, 30 seconds behind, McAlpine, Kong, Davidson, Taconis. I think Embrening is a little bit further back than that. But that looks to me like that is going to be the chasing group. That's Category 2. Back with Category 1, though. This group of riders are on the way up here. It has not really fractured yet.
I'm loving the term yet, but it's Fua on the front here with Bassoni, Bates and Giovanni. Koinstinen is covering the move as well. Then Shandy. We've got a bit of a stretch on this group, you know, but nothing too big at the moment. Looking at the gradient, they're currently at a really steep section on this climb. It's 11.2% at the moment. That is what is doing the damage to the group. Now, as the gradient drops, we may well see some of these riders come onto the back, but at the moment it definitely is. Well, it's Lou Bates and Catherine Fua making sure that pace is hot at the moment. And take a look at that. The gradient slightly lowering down to 9% and dropping now 8, dropping to 7, dropping to 6, and we see the group come back together a little. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 riders here in contention still at the moment. And well, the rest of that Category 1 bunch is still not far behind.
So the Category 1 bunch on the climb, it's fractured, it's reformed, it keeps fracturing, but it's not yet decisive. We don't have those big gaps that we've seen in Category 2 just recently, with Rona clear of 2 chasers, then another group are further back. This is going to be about the push, the climb, the acceleration. At the moment, they are closing in on a Category 3 rider. It will be the next group after that. They'll see should be Category 4 riders. Then they're going to be mixing it with Category 2 again. And the Category 2 leaders on the road at the moment around the big right-hand and left-hand sections that bring you back towards this same face of the mountain.
The 2 riders off the back of this group at the moment, Vicky Whitelaw and Hannah Giannatti, they are the 2 riders chasing in Category 1. This is the group they're chasing. This group are tapping their way up this mountain. You can see Whitelaw now coming onto the back of those Category 3 riders. Interesting to see if she can utilise the drive laughed a little bit here to give her a bit of a slingshot in, but she's continuing to tap at a comfortable pace for her. She's sitting around 4.5 watts per kilo. She's trying to pull this group back, but 4 seconds is now the gap.
And Giannatti's almost matching. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
Giannatti's sort of 4.2345, and you've got Whitelaw at sort of 4.4, 4.5, 4.6, 4.7. I think these two riders, dependent on how they work, I have a horrible feeling, I hope they're not listening, that they're going to get right onto the back of the group. And then the group's going to, just as they're about to make contact, exploding. Because if you're in that leading group, you've worked hard to split the group, you don't want riders getting back on. That's the way of the world, and it depends on how much they've got in, whether or not they can get. It doesn't look far time-wise. It's about 10 seconds at the moment, so it's going to be a big effort to get there. At the moment, this is a steady pace. It's not slow, but it's steady. It's a smooth pace. We're not seeing big yo-yoings of speed and pace, are we?
No, we're not. I was just sitting there thinking, this is a steady pace. I wouldn't call this a steady pace. Lou Bates is
smooth and steady.
It's a smooth pace, rather than a spiky pace. But Lou Bates here coming onto the front with Catherine Fua, now two absolute consummate climbers in this Category 1 race, both of Fua and Bates, Busoni and Koinstinen. Now Koinstinen, we know she's good, we know she climbs well, and she's back on form as she took the win in that December final on the outer loop in Australia. This is a bit of a different type of course, but Koinstinen, for me, is one of the strong riders at the moment in this pack. They're working their way through that Category 4 race field. They're working their way into the top 30 riders on the road today. You can see those 30 riders ahead of them on the bottom left-hand side of your screen. The leaders in the Category 2 race further up the road. They are off the screen at the moment. There is still 7 kilometres to go for this Category 1 race. Are they going to catch, Matt?
Yes.
I'll go for this short.
Listen, I've talked about having a kick. That is a verbal kick. Yes, we are going to get. It's going to happen, and I reckon it's going to happen for one reason. The one rider is pretty good to spoil the party, being Monica Runner at this rate, but which should mean I'm writing 2, or at least it's a no-lose. Are they going to catch? Yes, but it's a big caveat. It depends on what happens. At the moment, Category 1 is starting to string this out. We are still only 28 kilometres covered for Category 1 leaders. Category 2 leaders are at 29.4. It's a 35-kilometre race, and it is almost all uphill to the finish.
All the way.
It really is not a short climb. If this was Outer Loop, if this was one of our Belgian races, you'd be going, yeah, but we've got we've got 10k and we've only got 2k climbing. No, we've got like 6k, and it's all uphill for some of our riders. Some of our riders are going just to be hitting the base of the climb at the moment, and wherever you are on it, the only good thing about hills is that they always end. There's no such thing as an infinite hill. I tell myself that really regularly, particularly when I've been racing.
Eventually this climb will finish.
Eventually all climbs finish somewhere. No climb goes on forever. It might feel like that, and particularly when you're suffering on the wheel of a rider. The number of times I've suffered, I've been sat on a group like this at the back, small group of riders, you're up somewhere near the front of the racing contention, or you think you are, but actually they're taking it easy and you're suffering on the wheel. But I always thought to myself, it will end, the climb will end, and at some point, the race will end at the top of the hill, which is unusual, but it does happen. Or we're going to go over the other side, and I'm going to be able to go past. Or they're going to suffer, because if you're suffering, the odds are everybody in your race category is suffering. And that is one of the things you can really, on MyWhoosh, is really important. Because the race categories are so close together, everybody's in there.
I said mindset was important. Matt's giving us a little window into his mindset.
That's a scary thing. You don't really want to go there, believe me. There's a lot of bike racing, I have to admit.
Well, 6 riders moving clear now in this Category 1 race. Fua, Menezes, Bates, Busoni, Manshandi and Koinstinen. 6 riders moving to the 4 in Category 1, tapping their way up the mountain at the moment. It's currently 8.5% under their wheels as those 6 riders continue to progress. This is the front of the Category 3 race. And for me, I always love the Category 3 race. It's such a tightly matched race, and you can see that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 riders in the leading group.
We have 7 riders. This is going to be interesting. You remember what I said about Category 3? At the start of the show? Way long
Are you
ago.
expecting me to remember what you've said?
No, not really. No. The Category 3 for me, it's a very subtle differences in there, and it's about the different styles of rider. This is going to be really interesting to see how they play this out in Category 3. They've just been passed by the Category 1 leaders, and how you respond to that actually is really key. Now, this is starting to get very spicy indeed on the front. The numbers you can see are going up. The chevrons are coming in, the red chevrons, the yellow chevrons. It is all starting to kick here. This is a select group, and this surely now is the group that are going to take this out to the finish. You can see there are 1s and 2s behind. That is going to be difficult to pull back. Koivunen is the rider in trouble. And this is not something we'd expect to see. We know that Minna Koivunen is on the road to recovery, if not recovered. She's been on a journey that has taken her back in through doing that strength training. I mean, Emma was talking about what she's been doing at the start of the show. Emma's been doing some strength and some core work, which I guess really is what anchors you to the bike, and it makes sure that you're stable on the bike and that you've got that power.
I've decided that 2024 is the year to lift heavy weights.
Really?
Yep, so I am progressing through in terms of that.
And if you're going to do anything like that, make sure you get some expert advice and make sure you get yourself checked out first. Don't just go in and go
don't just
injure
copy
yourself.
Me.
Emma says don't just copy it. Emma has taken lots and lots of research and lots of advice on this. I know that for a fact because I know what Emma's like, and I know that she was busy in the offices of Full Speed Events researching weight training extensively because she's that kind of person. Because she does the research, so she does that. Emma, the results though are about strength, isn't they? It's about having the speed, the strength to be able to put that extra power down and be able to put it through your bike as well.
Well, and do you know what? It's also about longevity, and well, our riders. Well, I was going to say our riders won't be there yet, but some of them may well be because a big age range racing on MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. For a rider like me who is now 50 and over, these things are really important in keeping and holding your body together, not just for power and for racing and for having fun on the bike, but also for health and fitness into later life. Really, really important.
Yeah, I'd just do it for the bike, me, but you do it for whatever you want.
Yeah, well,
that's probably why I'm not going to be in a fit state to do much but talk about boat racing for a long time.
Well, I'll tell you something. I always remember I did a national orienteering event in my 20s, and as I came into the finish field and I punched the last control, the commentator at the top of the hill said, Emma Martin has just come into the field, and behind her is, I can't remember the lady's name, currently third place in our Vet 80 competition.
Wow.
And all I could think as I was running into the line was, I want to be doing this when I'm a Vet 80.
Well, we will see. We'll let you know in a few decades' time. If you're still following us on social media, you can see how Emma's getting on with that. It is at Biking Emma to follow what Emma's up to. You can follow me at Matt Fixer Pain. Please do get in touch. Let us know if you are doing something slightly different from maybe just getting on the bike and riding. Maybe maybe you're into your yoga, maybe you are into strength training, maybe you've just got some sprints that you work on. Do let us know. Don't share all your secrets, and do tell us if we're not allowed to give them away. But we do like to get that, and it's really interesting to see that, especially with people's different backgrounds. Now, on the race, our Category 1 riders are using their strength, their power, their pace to start to split the field apart. At the moment, Lou Bates on the front with Catherine Fuhr immediately behind. Bates, the rider with no hat, no helmet, by the look of it, on the front.
And
white
phenomenal
helmet.
climbing ability.
Great climbing ability. With the white helmet is Catherine Fuhr. With the black helmet is Roberta Bassoni. Those are the 3 riders in Category 1 in the lead. They have distanced Benensis, they have distanced Dega Mashandi. They are distancing Koivunen. This is a very powerful ride because we have not seen a kick. This is attrition.
This is strong pace. This is not high pace. This is not a kick. This is not a sprint effort and a sit back down. This is a concerted push from a strong climber. Well, I say a strong climber. It's more than one strong climber.
Yeah.
But this, for me, is going to form. I would have expected to see Lou Bates pushing on. I would have expected to see Catherine Fua, the rider, pushing with her. Busoni is digging in and digging deep at the moment because she doesn't want to let them go. She knows that the gradient does ease off a little towards the top of this climb. There are less really steep sections. She's just got to hang in there. The gradient ticking down to around 6% at the moment. But it's Bates, Busoni and Fua, the 3 riders clear in this Category 1 race. And they are now into the top 10 on the road.
Bates leading. 4 seconds back to Busoni and Fua. Busoni pushing past Fua here. Busoni does not want to let that lead go. Fua, we know, has got a good kick and good pacing. Maybe just taking time to get a little bit of recovery just as the gradient eased a little. The point Emma made about the top of this climb, very, very important. Adding to that mix about the lack of steep sections, you also have more flat sections coming in as well. So more leveling, more platforms, more basically flat sections of the course where it eases or where it's flat, the further up the climb you go. And don't forget that the finishing line is 500 meters beyond the finish of the climb line. So the climb banner, the polka dot banner, is not the finish of the race. That is just the finish of the climb. We then have a further 500 meters to get ourselves into the finishing line at the very summit. Will it come to a sprint? Will we have the same riders in the same order as they go up the climb and through that climb banner as go over the finishing line? Well, at the moment, Monica Rona is clear of Prado, is clear of Hermansen, who is also then clear of Taconis and Co. behind the top 3 position Category 2 on the right-hand side of your screen. Pretty set in place. Lou Bates now only has 6 riders in front of her. She is leading from Busoni. Then we have Busoni, we have Fua. They are all chasing at the moment, but again, the top 3 places starting to become defined. We are at 31 kilometers covered for Lou Bates at the moment, leading this race out in Category 1. She's looking strong. She's looking smooth. She's slowly but surely making her way up towards the top. Now, the time difference, that's a tricky one to call because Bates is moving and because we've got lots of different sections coming up in here where the pace will change. The distance between our riders, though, is almost exactly 1 kilometer, and we have 3 kilometers to go for Rona.
I'm surprised about that, Matt, because I thought Bates and the Category 1 squad were moving really fast up this climb. What I am impressed by is Monica Rona and the pace she is holding. She's time trialing up this climb and she's setting a strong pace. She's got over a minute now on Prado, 2 minutes 30 on her. I just squeaked then because I couldn't believe what I was reading on the screen. 2 minutes 30 on Hermansen. Phenomenal climbing from Monica Rona. You said she was the one to watch in this Category 2 race, Matt, and you were, I'm going to say it, I'm ever so sorry, you were absolutely right. So Rona, Prado, Hermansen, somebody write it down in a diary somewhere that Emma concurred that Matt was right. But Rona, Prado, Hermansen, the 1, 2, 3 in the Category 2 race. The next rider on the road now, that is Lou Bates in the Category 1 race. Embring, Kong, Taconis, 3 riders in that Category 2 race, now separating Bates from her Category 1 compatriots. Busoni and Fua are back around the corner.
So Lou Bates at the moment leading Category 1 here. She started to almost get caught there by Kong, Taconis and Embring as they were just trying to break each other a little bit on there. Bates is holding a very smooth pace. Do you think she's going to ease back at some point when she's got Busoni at 15 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes? What point would you consider yourself safe? And maybe you can drop a little bit and lessen the risk of going too far into the red.
I think it depends on what Lou Bates' plan is for today. You know, she may well have a training goal in mind as well, and she may have decided that she's going to climb the Jebel Hafit at a core pace, and utilise that as training today. So you don't know what her plan is. There may be more to her plan than winning the race today. There may not be, and she may sit up. Who knows?
At the moment, just easing back a little bit, 4.6 to 4.3 watts per kilo. The gradient went flat, using that opportunity to get a little bit of a rest. Now, if she's rested through there, you could see Bassoni come into that fast, flatter section and go, do you know what? Now's the time to kick. Really use that. Watching your opponent, really, really key. And we know a lot of our riders not only have their game in front of them, they'll also have the show on. If you do, thank you very much. If you are watching, please, please, please do share it out. A massive thank you to everybody who has joined us recently. The numbers continue to go up. Watching, share it with your friends, put the likes out there, get it out there. Please do let people know, not just that you can come and ride on MyWhoosh, but we actually have great racing that we're going to be bringing you week after week after week, and have done now for nearly 2 years here on the Sunday Race Club. It is really, really good to have you all on board. We hope that you're going to not just stay with us, but that you're going to download MyWhoosh, you're going to jump on board, and whether you are riding for fun, whether you're riding to get fit, whether you're just riding because it takes your mind off work, or because you're riding to take a win and you want to come and be the best on Sunday Race Club, get on board. Don't hesitate to get in touch with Emma or myself or the team at MyWhoosh. Everybody is here to get everybody a great result. We want people on bikes. We want people enjoying it. Having fun is absolutely key. The best fun of all, in my opinion, is winning bike races. But that is not something I've done in any way, shape or form frequently. And maybe in some ways it makes it all the more special when it happens. But doing a great performance on a ride, that is something I think everybody can relate to. Having those days when you get on the bike and you fly, of very, very special days indeed. Doing it on a mountain like this, well, I think our riders on the screens, they are having an absolute flyer. Fua, Menezes are riding strong. They can't answer Bassoni, they can't answer Bates, but they are still right up at the front in contention. They're closing in on Hermansen, but at the moment, this is a really interesting battle. Fua and Menezes. Menezes in the ascendancy. She's caught Fua, but Fua now pushing again.
One of the things I'm going to look for here is what starts to happen between now and the finish line. Well, that's obvious, isn't it? She says, Emma's just stated the obvious. But what I mean is, Lou Bates is climbing and climbing strongly. She's climbing at a really good pace. She's going to come up onto Lisa Hermansen shortly, and we know Hermansen is strong. But the question is, can she tack herself onto the back of Lou Bates and use Lou Bates as motivation to close the gap down on the Category 2 riders ahead? Or will she just let Bates go straight past her? Fua pushing on here. Menezes is on her wheel. They've got 20 seconds to Bassoni. I think Fua is riding her own race here. She's picked a pace that she's comfortable at, and she is tapping her way up the mountain.
She's doing a Lou Bates, so that's exactly what Lou Bates has done. They're now coming into one of my favourite parts of this fantastic climb here on the Jebel Hafit. As you come round the right-hand turn, I love the burn fat, not fuel. Wish I was doing more of that. As you come up round this turn, you go into this long sweeping left, and we've got the amazing scape. You can see down to the right-hand side. Thank you very much, team. I tell you something, I wish I could do that in real life. You look down off the side and you can see the road below. You can see the climb. You can see the height you've gained. That's always a great feeling. I mean, you know, a lot of the continental race teams, if they're not over racing in the Tour Down Under, are actually down in the south of Spain at the moment, putting in their training camps. They're on the Col de Ras, and that is another climb where you can look down and see all of that height that you've gained. You then come around the amazing buildings here. You take this turn, and it reminds you that this is somewhere that you've got, man has created this road. This is not natural. But it does, because we take it for granted that there's a bit of tarmac we can ride up here, and we're going to put it onto the show, and it's going to go onto MyWhoosh. It's an amazing feat of engineering, and I love those big climbs where you look down, you think, oh my goodness, I am right up here, and it's the same when you're in the game.
Well, Rona has climbed right the way up the mountain. She's 1,000 meters now from the finish line. Here's the question: is she going to stay clear of Lou Bates?
Don't ask me, because I think I got that wrong last
Lou
time.
Bates is 800
Yes.
metres behind her. I think Rona is going to stay clear. I think we are going to see Monica Rona, the Category 2 leader, cross the finish line today in first place on the road. I don't think Lou Bates is going to catch her.
She needs a
Lou
time
Bates,
machine.
if you are listening and you are up for the challenge, you've got 900 metres till she crosses the line. You need to get a shift on, but I think Monica Rona is going to take the win today. She's going to be the first rider over the line, the winner of the Category 2 race. I'm going to need to eat my hat if I'm wrong.
Well, I would agree. I mean, I thought that the Category 1 would catch Category 2, and I definitely got that wrong. Very interesting, though. The catch has been made by Bassoni, and Bates right off the pace here. She's gone down to 3.8 and 4 watts per kilo. She needs to respond to Bassoni here. And it's like, that looks to me, again, Lou, if you're listening, I'm sorry, but it looks to me like Lou Bates is in a little bit of trouble here.
Yeah.
I'm not sure she went too hard too soon. And now Bassoni is the one who's going to benefit. Left-hand side of the screen.
Look at that!
Solo rider. Bassoni has gone. Bates has gone pop. I tell you something, the wheels have fallen off of Lou Bates' wagon today, because that is one of the most spectacular drops out of a race lead we have seen here. Bates has got to pick this up. Come on, Lou. This is where that mindset is really going to have to pay off. You've got to dig now. Roberta, come on, Roberta. You've got the chance of the win here. There we are, equal with the snow favourites in commentary.
It's a phenomenal catch from Bassoni as she continues to kick up the mountain. But the rider kicking into the finish is Monica Rona at the moment. She's 250 metres from the line. She's going to swing around that right-hand corner. That's where the finish line is going to be. She's clear by 700 metres from Prado behind. Bassoni, the Category 1 leader, further down the mountain. But Monica Rona, she swings in and she sees that finish line gantry, that UCI gantry, indicating the finish line of the Sunday Race Club. Monica Rona is going to take the win in this Category 2 race. She's the leader on the road today. She's climbed the Jebel Hafit. She's tapped her way up the mountain, clear of the rest of the Category 2 race field. So Monica Rona sees the line. She sees the finish gantry. She takes the win today in Category 2 on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. First across the line, right the way up the Jebel Hafit, clear of Prado behind.
It's a great ride by German Prado, who is chasing. She's 400 metres from the line in Category 2. The rider behind her is coming up to the summit of the climb, though, and that is Roberta Bassoni on the left of your screen in the yellow jersey. She goes underneath that polka dot banner, and that means that she takes that polka dot skin suit. Rona at the top has finished in Category 2. Prado is chasing on the right of your screen to get in through to the line. The gap between Prado and Bassoni about 30 seconds at the moment, but Prado leading from Bassoni, but Bassoni leading the Category 1 race now, and that gap to Lou Bates is at 20 seconds down to 13. It's yo-yoing because the pace of both riders is also yo-yoing up and down. It's bouncing about. This is going to be really interesting. It's going to be close, maybe not quite as close as the race between Fua Menezes. They are very, very close. So it's only about 4 seconds at the most between them. And I think that's going to come down to a sprint. But it's Prado who's going to hit that line next.
German Prado comes up to the top of the Jebel Hafit. She crosses the finish banner in this Category 2 race. She stayed clear of the Category 1 race leader who's down the mountain behind her. Prado takes second. This is Roberta Bassoni. She was 5th last week in Belgium. She's going a lot better today in Arabia as Bassoni takes the win in the Category 1 race for Qualifier 2 on the Sunday Race Club.
And what a ride by Lou Bates here. She's going to come through to take second place in that Category 1 race. Our long-time race leader, she took the race on. She made it hard. She stayed clear of Catherine Fua, who kicks over the line to come through Chased to the finish by Jessenia Menendez. Menendez with another good ride. Hermansen's going to be the third place rider in category 2. She's on her way in over the line. Underneath that, UCI Gantry, the UCI and Esports in partnership all the way from 2024 through 2025 and all the way through 2026. Really looking forward to those World Championships that are coming up in October. Make sure you keep your eyes on the MyWhoosh social media feed. Will we see Mina Koivunen there? Will she climb her way right up into the action? A great ride by her to take 5th place here today. Jessenia Menendez is in 4th. Catherine Fua in 3rd. Lou Bates in 2nd. Roberta Bassoni in 1st. Your 3-2-1 in the category 2. Hermansen in 3rd. Predo in 2nd. Rona in 1st. And don't forget, all these results are live. They will be on the MyWhoosh website. That is the mywhoosh.com website /results. They're live at the moment. They become unofficial when all our riders finish, and then they'll be verified, and those will be the final results. Make sure you join us next week for the next of our women's qualifiers. Before that, though, don't forget, of course, that we will be bringing you the men's race very, very shortly indeed. Quick turnaround today for myself and for Emma. Emma, where can we follow you on social media? Where can people keep up with what you're up to?
You can get hold of me at Biking Emma on Instagram. Get in touch, drop me a private message. More than happy to hear about what you're up to and what you're doing, what your training's like, or where you're riding from.
And don't forget, you can get hold of me. It's at Matt Fixer Pain, and you can get hold of me on that. Always love to hear all your racing and riding stories. Make sure you tag in at MyWhoosh on all of your posts, and don't forget, jump on board. Make sure that you come and join us. Give us a subscribe, give us a like. Tell your friends about the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. From all of the team behind the scenes, from Emma and myself. Stay safe. We'll see you very shortly indeed.
Goodbye.